Hello and welcome back, ladies and gents, boys and girls, to another episode of Cup of TCG. My name is Kyle. Joining me is the lovely Callum and Ryan, and we have got hot off the presses from part of the Mistveil, a Enigma versus Victor game. Callum has defected over to the illusionist camp, and Ryan is holding fast in the Guardian camp, I suppose. Guys, it was a banging game yesterday at our local Armory. How are you both feeling coming into this new meta?
Ryan, you go first.
Well, the new meta for Guardian is looking kind of rough. I'm not going to lie. Victor is probably the best suited Guardian for them all. I don't think you should play Betsy. I think we all know that. Bravo at the moment, he's got some bad matchups, and he's not got Test of Strength or Trounce. So I think Victor's your best bet. And for what it's worth, I think Victor's still pretty good. Don't get me wrong. I just think it's tough right now. So you'll see in this game, it's a tough match, but I'm still learning, and I'm going to be flying the flag for Guardian for a while to come.
Oh yeah.
Got to visit those Goldmane estates, huh?
Yeah, I went home and made some money.
I have returned home and gained funds. Welcome to the Goldmane estate.
Yeah.
Callum, how's obviously switching over to Illusionist recently with Enigma's release? Your first IRL event, and the first IRL event for a lot of people, where these decks would have been played, especially the fact that you now have a full list after some banging cases and some monetary funds being put into the pocket of a couple of people on Discord.
Mm-hmm.
How are you finding your list?
I'm looking forward to this meta. I think I'm thinking about changing things up a little bit. I played a pre-release and we played a draft on release day, and I played Enigma in both of those events, and it went pretty well. Went 4-1 in the pre-release and won the draft. So really started enjoying the play patterns that Enigma has. Obviously, being illusionist, there's some flip-floppy matchups, but interested to learn another new deck.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we're starting off the game here. Ryan, you're going first as Victor, of course. Is this something that you won the dice roll? You want to be going first to pressure damage, or who won the dice roll in this situation between you guys?
No, the opposite.
Okay.
Callum won and made me go first, which is what he wants and what I don't want. So I'm basically just playing a card to filter here. I don't want 3 blues in my hand. I'd rather have gone second, got a block card, got value off that, etc.
My sort of thesis about going second as Enigma is to get the full value off of the auras that you play. You kind of want to attack with them first. So if you only ever get the offensive and one use of the offensive value and then the defensive value, they effectively get their full value. And then if they stick around for a turn, they become pretty silly. So going first means you may get to resolve the auras and attack with them, but your opponent gets to block them for free, obviously. And obviously you get the added bonus of Victor maybe opening some block cards, which on turn 1 they don't really want to do, right?
No, absolutely. Notably, having a quick look at the equipment, Ryan, a new pickup for yourself, Crown of Dominion in Victor. Of course, not going to be running the arms, instead a Nothos for a weapon, so need to start with a gold somehow. And Callum, of course, a new suite of equipment with the new legendary head, the boots, and also a face-down cloaked arm piece. Who on earth can expect what that is?
Whoa.
Yeah, I think it's.
I know, I didn't know.
It's really interesting seeing the Victor lists try change to this Crown of Dominion plan, right? I think it's definitely indicative of a more aggressive game plan, which I really like.
So here's the first clash of the game, and I actually sided in these rouses just for this game. In fact, I'm only playing rouses when I'm playing a Nothos, for example. And lost that clash, and I gave it to Callum, so he can have a gold. Which sucks. Actually, would have loved to have had a gold there. So I'm on Crown of Dominion because I want to make gold as quick as possible. So when I draw Goldmane estate, I can, just roll him and hopefully break these wards. Go over the top of 12. For example. But I had to give it up there, and Callum's got a gold now.
I think historically the Guardian Illusionist matchups haven't been the best for Guardian.
No.
I mean, with really tight play, I think you see some of the best Guardian players really manage to stick it out. But here I am playing one of the new Mystic non-class specific cards. I think it's second tenant of Chi Wind, if I remember correctly. So 3 for 5, and if you've transcended, it gets go again. I think what Enigma is really looking for is good ways to play out blues to then be able to transcend off the back of them. And this card is a way to apply pressure whilst still being able to transcend. So it's pretty face-up play here. It's just, not like I'm going to play a 3 for 5 about anything in the back pocket, right?
No, nothing crazy, but I suppose this play line with second tenant and then transcending at instant speed to be able to give it go again, of course, getting the effect from whatever transcend card that you've just played is also super beneficial. Kind of feels a little bit KO-esque if you think about I've discarded an instant, now my claws have got go again, etc. with those
combat
with the wages when they release, right? So I mean, it's quite cool, something different. I don't know if this is standard for some of the lists you've seen from Enigma, Callum. Are a lot of them on this second tenant? Seems pretty strong.
I think so. So I'm playing a list that's very similar to a list Fino Black shared recently. I changed a few cards in the list just to suit some sideboard or playstyle preferences of my own. But I think people are sort of understanding that that blue card, the second tenant of Chi Wind, is quite powerful. Look, my last turn was a really powerful turn for me, even though it only presented 7 damage off of, I think I had like a 4-card hand. 7 damage, but establishing a Shimmers. So the Spectra Auras are very important and very difficult very difficult for Guardian to clear efficiently. Ryan with the go again source is pretty good. So he gets the Anotho straight in there.
I just flexed my cold foil there.
I was about to say, I was like,
nice.
I have a feeling I know where he's tilted that one. Nabbed that
I
one.
remember doing that because I wanted to show that. So I blocked only 3 there with a CNC because I knew I had a Zealous turn coming up.
Yep.
And then Callum played a Shimmers, so I was actually quite rewarded there, keeping a go again source, because I was just going to hit him anyway, but now I had an actual target to clear, so
yeah,
I was actually fine with that turn cycle for me.
Absolutely. Incredibly strong card here. Waxing Spectre. Ward 3, of course, because it's pitching the blue, enters with a +1 counter, so not only is it coming in for 4, but also due to Enigma's ability, has go again. Tessa's strength coming in to be able to just kind of cleanly block that, but there you go.
Nice clean block, and I got a wallop, so I made a Vigor, and this is a funny play. So obviously, if I pop it, it will make a copy of that aura Callum played.
It will.
So I'm going to try and not pop it, basically.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so Enigma has some interesting things she can do with the tunic counter in this deck. One of them being playing Miraging Metamorph. Most of the time, it's after some auras, but sometimes it's off of a 1-card hand with a Metamorph, and a 1-card 7's pretty hot. Also has the added upside of copying Spectra auras or Ward auras as well. Notably doesn't copy the +1 counters on the auras though. So Ryan opted obviously not to pop the Metamorph, blocking with I think it was an E-Strike and a Wallop, right?
Yep.
So 2 5s, not popping the Metamorph, which is most likely the correct play. And then swinging at me with a Spinal Crush.
Yeah, so I actually, again, another good turn cycle, I think, for me, because not popping the thing, taking 1, and then with the Vigor, I was able to float my Tunic and present 9 off 1 card and still have an Arsenal. So
yeah, I mean, 1 card 9's pretty good. Pure numbers, getting an Arsenal as well.
Yeah.
Not too shabby. Of course, only going to be covering, what's this, 4, 5, 6, 7 of this, so taking 2 down to 38. Yep. I would say First Blood to you, Callum, but of course healing up earlier on after getting chipped down by 1. Wow, a Mirror Guy being pitched away for a... what is this card? I always forget the name of this one you just played.
This one's Waning Vengeance, this one. So Ward 3, if you have a pitch card, blue pitch card in your... If you have a blue card in your pitch zone, when it's destroyed, you make a Spectral Shield.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about the Enigma game plan. a little bit here because I seem to be sort of trading back and forward with Ryan and giving up my auras pretty freely. So I think one of the main things early on you want to do as Enigma is try and transcend at least once to get one of those chi cards, the inner chis, into your deck, enabling your headpiece, so the Traverse the Universe. Really crazy card, actually. The more you think about this card, the more it's impressive, right? So it's block 2 that just adds a blue to your hand. That's pretty crazy.
Off topic to the game, I have added it to the bottom left-hand corner. That extended art might be one of the best looking cards that have been released in Fab. It's absolutely
nice.
Anyway,
one of those,
your thoughts about this card, Callum?
Yeah, so really crazy card, and I think lends itself really nicely to the game plan of trying to find a turn in the game to pivot. So give up your board or take a significant amount of damage to resolve the card I pitched last turn, the Manifestations of Miragai, pitching the chi that we search off the Traverse, and really try and steal tempo and roll the game from there.
Talk to me about this block, Callum. Unmovable. Not a card which some people would expect into this list. You put it quite direct to me yesterday. It was like, your deck's full of blues. Like, it blocks 7. It works really well.
Your deck's full of blues, and it's also full of blue non-blocking cards.
Absolutely.
Right? So it helps you turn your non-blocks into blocking cards effectively, because this unmovable could be equated to a 4-block and a 3-block if the blue had block 3, except I get to keep a blue card in my deck. Also really good against the dominate effects, Azalea as well.
Or overpower,
Yeah, 100%. Some other small synergies, for example, Waning Vengeance needs a blue card in my pitch zone when it dies to make the Spectral Shield. So as you can see here, I made a Spectral Shield off the back of that. Off the back of that. So another new card here.
Levels of Enlightenment.
Hot chase card at the moment.
Yep.
Very climbing in price as we speak.
Very expensive.
Levels of Enlightenment. You get to pick a number of modes equal to the amount of blue cards that you've pitched this turn. Really good card for Enigma, just to be able to extend your turns. Sometimes with the Spectral Auras and some of the slower auras like Rage Spectre and stuff, it can feel kind of difficult to use every card in your hand. That's why sometimes we need to block and protect our board, right? But this card helps blue block 3 that allows you to extend further.
Notably, an interesting interaction here with Levels of Enlightenment is the fact that because it's a blue card and it states when this attacks, I believe the interaction with the Transverse cards is that when it's on Transcend cards, when it's on the stack, before you select your modes, you can activate one, then activate Enigma's ability. So then you can pitch 2 because you pitch the chi and you pitch the card you pitch 4.
Yeah, I think you can do this as all the Mystic Heroes, right? You can, in the layer step, you can
you can let it
transcend, activate the hero ability or something like that, and on the attack trigger equals more modes being able to be picked.
So here's one of my spicy cards, Invicta. I think it's not so spicy no more. People are playing it quite frequently, but perhaps including it in this matchup is spicy. I don't know, but it's out muscle. Knowing that Callum does have a way to turn it off, you kind of just have to kind of high roll a little bit. You got to kind of just make him have it. If he can turn off the go again, okay. I'm getting 2 cards out of Callum here. His return won't be that strong. It's fine. Just Arsenal move on. But hopefully, if he didn't have a way to turn it off there, you're threatening 12 damage. Yeah,
I think
pretty good.
Quite an interesting thing there as well. A lot of people may look at that, and I certainly would, from a knee-jerk reaction, think, damn, you've overblocked that dramatically, even though it doesn't have go again from the first block. But of course, you need to be maintaining the board state and make sure that your wards stay on the field, which is, I assume, the reason that you overblocked as dramatically as you did, right?
Yeah. You got to block it with a 6 or greater power, but it doesn't have Phantasm. You still have to block it for 6 if you want to keep your ward, right?
Absolutely.
So here we got my favorite card currently.
Yeah, the first visit back home to the Goldmane estate. Of course, starting the game with that 1 gold from the Crown of Dominion, and then creating one earlier on from a Test of Strength, and now your third one with the Goldmane estate because it gets created, and you've got 3 or more might tokens, baby. Here comes your 3 mites as well.
Yeah. Excited to see. So not this turn, it won't be that explosive this turn, or it might, still be a nice little 9 or an 8. But next turn we're looking at a +3. So we'll just see what's going to go.
Need to get Victor on an episode of MTV Cribs.
Nice, very good, very good.
It's quite a swanky little estate there. So
yeah.
The ceiling of that card is very, very high. I mean, if you think about what you could do. I mean, being able to...
This is why I think that Victor may not have as tough of a time into Enigma as some of the other Guardians and some of the other types of decks like this. I think the Goldmane Estate is really a really sick tool that LSS have given Victor to push over these decks that punish the slower decks, right?
Absolutely. And just real quick, I've drawn into another one, and this is something really cool that you can do. If you have to draw it, but if you get to an opportunity where you play one, make X might, whatever, next hand those might pop, but you get to play another one, you just get to obviously roll and kind of do like a weird Bravo impression where you're just kind of dominating Crippling Crush turn after turn,
rolling hot. Yeah.
And this is exactly what I want in this position where I'm a little bit down on life. Callum's presenting some go again attacks here, but I've got to just try and hopefully cling back and break these wards, and there you go, right?
So for me here, I'm a bit scaled of the might tokens coming in, so I've got to try and push a little damage while I can. So here I am. I'm going to commit my arm piece to this attack to give it a go again. So this is the Uphold Tradition. Gives a +1 counter to a aura with ward you control. It has ward 1 itself.
It also has the new keyword, which is Cloaked. For people who may not know what this is, there was a reason the card was face down. It's because you equip it face down, and then when you want to activate it, part of the cost is turning the card face up. So you can only use the instant ability once due to that being part of the cost.
Interesting. So this is my first time playing this matchup, by the way. Me and Callum both never played this matchup, so I'm learning as I'm watching this again. And I don't think there's many opportunities in your deck, Callum, where you give things +1 like that. So that actually could be a good gauntlets block there that I should have. Well, I can now read hopefully from now on. I would have saved some life there.
Possibly, but I think
I don't know if that works.
It would work if I did it in the reaction step, right? But as
is it an instant?
It's an instant. I would be able to.
Oh, dearie me!
The arms trigger.
Damn, Ryan going through stages of grief right now. That's crazy.
Gauntlets aren't that great, unfortunately, lads. Neither are civic steps, unfortunately either. So
let's talk about
equipment that blocks 5. No.
With mention of the gauntlets, right? And do you want to talk about the potential other arms equipment that you're thinking about trying next?
Yeah, so Van Brace is a hot topic currently, and it's something I'm considering because in this matchup I didn't really find that having blocking armor was that relevant. Blocking spectral shields or whatever with them that feels great. So maybe Van Brace could be a good consideration here, making them have to have some answer to your attack reaction, right? Plus it's also actually a really sneaky way to make an Othos 6. It's like the classic Oldham tech, right? So actually, I'm considering that from going ahead.
This is a really interesting play here, right? Because Outmuscle, with its text that reads like if it isn't defended with a card that's equal or greater than its attack, it gains go again. Notably, like most cards, does not say its base. So this getting buffed by might goes up to 9, unless Callum has a 9th blade in that deck, or Phantasmaclasm?
Ryan's very lucky that I'm not playing Frightmare in this.
Is Phantasmaclasm a 9 as well, or is that a 7?
Phantasmaclasm is 9.
Yeah. The thing is
Cool card.
this
It's definitely a consideration.
Mm,
Fantastic
yeah.
card.
but not
this is
Brightman.
exactly why Outmuscle is so high in favor for me at the current point. I was playing it before Gold Main Estate, but
It was.
now if you have just +1 on it, it's so much awkward. So much more awkward for decks to block it, right? But giving it +3, it's going to have go again, right? You can assume. And now I've got a follow up to
Oh.
nice crispy CNC.
Well, I suppose
Yeah,
good timing on the unmovable for the first attack, then, right?
Yeah,
The
I was
CNC
kind
has,
of yeah.
The CNC has caught a crispy D-React in my arsenal.
Yeah.
And one in your
This
hand,
is
I
one
think,
of the
as well,
few,
right?
few
Is that-
times I'm. What was that, Carl?
I think there's another one in your hand as well, right?
Yeah, I have an unravel
Yeah,
in my hand
yeah.
as well.
Damn.
Yeah. So again, I think I mentioned this on the last Victor video I commentated on. A really good turn, and they're generic cards. So it's just one of those things, right? CNC is so powerful. It's just such a Guardian staple. And yeah, I managed to catch Callum here, which is exactly what you want. Break some ward, kill some D-Reacts in Arsenal. And Anna plus also, I don't think we talked about it. I played that Gold Main Estate as well, so
You did
I've
indeed.
got 4 might for next turn.
Another 4 might coming in. So interesting on my side is this is another reason why I really like unmovable in the deck at the moment is any way to get a blue card in my pitch zone on my opponent's turn, meaning that Waning Vengeance gets just that little bit more value. It's not a bad return for me here. Got caught out a little bit, but managed to resolve a haze bending and Arsenal another D-React. It is Unravel, which means that it's a slightly worse blue unmovable at this point in the game, right? Unless I'm willing to block with Traverse Universe. But as I mentioned earlier, you are really looking for a time in the game to use that with a Manifestations of Mirror Guy. But there is value in having the slightly worse blue unmovable in the arsenal being Dominate and the no blocks in my deck.
So notably, you have one in your arsenal. You have an Anophos coming at you for what currently is 6+4,
10.
so a big fat 10. And you've also got another Unravel in your hand. They've kind of clumped a little bit here.
Yeah, not a card I'm upset to pitch back into the deck. I do see Ryan holding. I think you've still got 2 or 3 cards.
3
in your hand.
cards. Yeah, this was an awkward one.
So I'm not. I'm expecting a pummel. It's pretty choreographed. I'm expecting the pummel. But the pummel being on an Othos itself means that I'm not staring down the face of a discard trigger. And I think I choose this time to go and take my pivot here.
Yeah, so with 4 mites, with Gold Main Estate, for example, actually, you want to be playing that card and arsenaling your threat for the next turn to capitalize on the might. Unfortunately, I had to just use my hand and hope that I would draw something good. But I drew a pummel, a pummel, a trounce, and 2 blues, I think. So I had to crack a gold there to see if I could grab something, and unfortunately, I didn't. I think I just want an Arsenal target, perhaps as well. But it also telegraphs to Callum, like he said, right? 3 cards, it's going to be a pummel. So again, I do have to make him have it, otherwise his ward will go. But yeah, that's why I did that. Unfortunately, it's a bit not as efficient as I'd like, because Callum doesn't know this, but I'm not even going to Arsenal after all this. So,
So something else to note here, right, is that Ryan attacking me with the Anothos, the Gold Main Estate might tokens that were made really sort of incentivizes him to not attack my haze bending. He wants to go face with those might tokens, right? So I know my haze bending's safe. It's going to start accruing value for me over the course of the game. And here I resolve the first manifestations of Mirror Guy of the game. Quite a complicated card. The first time you read it, it's hard to sort of
Give us a
what it's
rundown.
doing. If you pitch a cheat to play it, which is kind of what you want to be doing, it comes in with 4+1 counters. It has Ward X, where X is the number of +1 counters on it, meaning in combination with Cosmo, Enigma's weapon in this game, it gets Ward 4, which gives it 4 damage, and it has 4+1 counters, meaning it comes in for 8.
And go again.
Because it has +1 counters, it be having go again.
So this is a
pretty
blue for
pretty
8
scary
go
card.
again.
Pretty scary card, and obviously
Yeah.
Ryan does not want to let me get any more +1 counters on this
Yeah.
because it just exponentially increases.
So I'm resolving
So you
test
win
of
the
strength
test?
here first because I just want to see if I can win it and make a gold. And then we're resolving trounce 2.
So that's a win on the first.
Yep.
And win on the second.
So
Cranial Crush.
that's the second trounce, right? Because we've already bottomed the
That's right.
first card, my top card. I am not happy to see Ryan with these really efficient blocking cards. However, I am happy that he's committing blocks to Manifestations of Mirugai, because there's a good chance that the return will be a bit weaker, and I am also free from the gold main estate pressure of the last few turns.
Absolutely.
I think we had a little discussion about Tunic here, but I'm
Yeah, again, I
99%
completely
sure.
missed that. Did I take up my tunic twice? I don't remember.
I don't think
No,
you
you
did.
didn't.
You're
No,
on
you
2 at the start of the turn. You ticked it up
Okay,
once.
epic. So here, I actually do get good value out of it. That's why I was questioning it in real life, because I draw a card.
Cracking a gold.
Yeah, I'm able to play Cranial Crush and have an arsenal. However, looking back on it, I know what obviously happens from this game. So looking back on it, I actually think I should just commit blocking the manifestations like I did, but aim to kind of just clear things. It's pretty tough from this point out to just let Callum have a haze bending and a manifestations and just kind of attack him as if they don't exist.
Well, this is one of the problems that Guardians had for a while into illusionist matchups, right? Especially the ones that are able to make these spectral auras. Is that,
Yeah.
well, yes, you do have a weapon to be able to target them. If they begin getting out of hand and a bigger board state presents itself, similar to what we're seeing here, it makes it incredibly difficult for you to be able to prioritize targets correctly. At the end of the day, you need to be able to reduce your opponent's HP to 0. But to be able to get to that point, you need to be able to destroy the things that are on the board representing an absolutely shed ton of damage. We're going to be seeing the final unravel here played out along with a block with a second tenant and the tunic. It's got enough value for this game, right, Callum? So blocking that one out.
Yeah,
for
it's
this
interesting. I think it was a tough call to make in the game. I think Ryan was probably a bit surprised as well to see me block with the tunic this early in the game, right? But I really do think the game plan lends itself to really wanting to
Keep it
get
alive,
value
right?
of this. Yeah, get value out of this manifestations over and over again. The fact that I'm attacking with it a second time is already a win for me, right? It's
already paid for itself.
effectively 1 for 8 this turn, 1 for 8 go again.
Yeah, pretty strong. That is why I did the Cranial Crush play, because it was going to be for 9, and I thought 9's my biggest number here. It is what it is, but I should have been prepared the fact that you probably can block it. It is what it is, right? This is probably my hardest decision tree in this matchup, is figuring out when to pivot. If you play a mirror guy, when to swap to I've got to kill this, or
nice little golden sun reveal on the
crispy one. So I've got 6 gold now. That's pretty nice.
Plus 2 gold on that turn, and then drawing the golden sun as well. So you set up for a pretty decent turn here. Off the back of it, and the shimmer's being played. Now this is where the spectral auras start snowballing a little bit, right?
Yes.
So here I had the option to pitch that shimmers to play out the waxing spectre that I pitched to attack with the mirror guy. Opted to resolve the shimmers here because Ryan is so incentivized to go face at me at this point because of the mirror guy that I feel like the shimmers may just get away with murder. So if Ryan doesn't have a go against source here, it's starting to get very scary for him to let this mirror guy stick around.
Yeah.
So notably, it doesn't just get the mirror guy. It doesn't just make the mirror guy bigger in the sense that it can attack for more. It'll be coming in for 9 next turn if it gets to attack due to Shimmer's effect. But also, because of the way mirror guy works, you'll be gaining an extra plus 1 on your ward. So you'll be going up to a ward 5 on a single piece of weaponry, essentially, and that will just continue building and building and building. We do see a go against source here though from Zealous Belting coming for a
I
big
think this is exactly what Ryan wanted this turn. He needed that go against source
for sure.
getting cards out my hand, preventing me
Yeah.
from establishing even more of a board state.
And he knows one of the cards in your hand doesn't block as well after seeing it off the back of the Trouts.
Yeah, that is true.
So that Zealous, I got really lucky. I pitched a pummel to crack a gold with the vigor I had floating, and I drew into it.
Nice.
And honestly, I drew into it because I needed to do something.
It is a shame you didn't get
Otherwise-
to do anything else there, though, right? Because the Mirror Guy was essentially fully open for you to be able to kill, knowing that there was a no block in hand.
Yeah, that could potentially be something to look from this video and work upon. I am still learning the matchup. Again, this is my first time playing this matchup. That like keeping track of someone's trounced cards, like what they've got as opposed to what I've got, as well as figuring out how am I going to flesh out my turn, how are they going to block me. It's a lot to take in, and it's something I need to work on for sure.
Absolutely.
My point was to kill Shimmers, like Callum said, because it's going to be pretty disastrous if that sticks around and Mirror Guy.
Yeah.
So I opted to kill that, but there's an example there that I could perhaps go face because I know Callum.
And like
can't
you
do
said,
anything.
there's also certain things to consider, right? With the potential for another unmovable, or that no block isn't necessarily a
It's not useless.
guarantee that that Ryan's going to get damage in.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
So I think this is like a pretty good example of Enigma enacting this game plan of picking that turn to pivot and sticking this Mirror Guy and applying the pressure.
Yeah.
I think at some point Ryan's going to look and say, hey, I got to say no blocks at some point. I got to
It is
pivot,
this turn,
and it is
yep.
this turn here. I fumble with the life a little bit throughout this game because I'm controlling it as we do it. But
Oh, big cat card. I forget what this card's called. There's so many new
this is-
cards, dude. I love it.
yeah, this is Restless Coalescence.
This is a great card.
Yeah, this is a quite powerful turn from me here. The Restless Coalescence allows me to move one of the +1 counters from the manifestations of Mirror Guy over onto it, allowing it to come in for 3 with Go again because it has a +1 counter, and then at instant speed be able to remove a +1 counter from it when I choose to make a Spectral Shield.
So ending the chain with the Spectral Shield coming in for 1, of course, it being free because it's the first Spectral Shield attack of the turn, off the back of Enigma's ability. Restless Coalescence, again, really strong card. The fact that it allows you to print these Spectral Shields if you want to, it's very, very good. And wow, I think I'm seeing why Ryan said no blocks, because here comes another visit to the Goldmane Estate, and this time, this is +6 might counters coming in
Yep.
on the next turn. Getting to draw a card as well because you created a gold using an action card effect. And
I
now
thought about
a
that
Spinal.
for a long time.
Damn,
And all honestly, I thought about this for a long time, hoping that I would draw a blue. If I don't draw a blue, my turn's okay, but if I draw a blue here, my turn is nuts.
Is it because, and I think I spied it earlier when you were looking, just to double check if the card in your arsenal was the card you put there, that's a pummel,
Maybe.
allegedly.
But again, this is really cool, but Callum's board states is nuts.
Yeah,
So
very big.
what do I do, right? I'm on 12. Like, do I attack him? Do I block and clear board? It's pretty tough here. So I think I just was gonna go for it.
I think you make the right choice here. I think I think Pummel is one of Victor's better tools in this matchup to take me by surprise and clear some ward and stuff. I'm pretty sure my Mirror Guy has done his job at this point, but we'll try and save him if we can. So I give you the old block 9, I believe.
So this is a good example of where Van Brace in this matchup would actually be really good here, because I'm pitching a blue to play this pummel, so I technically have 1 floating, and we're still in the reaction step, right? So I could actually use
100%.
Van Brace there. So that's something to consider going forward, and that's something I'm going to look at putting in my list from this point going forward.
And that's probably something notable as well. Again, Callum, not against you, far from it, but declaring which ward sources you're going to break before the reaction step is over. Something that people may want to make sure is not in the habit, because then that might preempt them to change their mind on certain things. Got to get used to it. It's something different, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, if Ryan's on Van Brace here. I definitely don't know.
Yeah.
This is what I'm bringing.
Ooh, crispy. So I reveal a thunk. So now
Who'd
I
have thunk
offer
it?
trounce. So I've just made 2 extra might.
So you're up to 8 might right
Yeah.
now, creating
It's pretty
I'll-
sweet.
another
I'll
gold
spend
and a
2.
vigor.
Yeah. And I've
Wow.
got a golden ton. It's pretty
Jesus
nice.
wept. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is a pretty pivotal point in the game where I think I'm kissing this mirror guy goodbye, guys.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
It is what it is. But
Poor guy.
yeah,
That's the wrong mirror guy.
I'm really, really happy I managed to draw this kind of sequence of hand, like getting a trounce after I've played a golden estate and revealing a thunk. Like,
You did
this
the
is
thing.
as good as a comeback as I could have asked for.
Oh, look at that. The long boom onto the
You know,
board.
you know I had to flare it.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. So this is
Go on,
8
Carl, how much?
plus 8 plus 3. No, 8 plus 7 plus 3. That's 18 damage.
It sure is, mate.
Thank
With
God the budget
overpower.
doesn't count that high.
Yeah, there's no dice that does it, mate. we need D20.
8
I think we
plus
got
10.
a 1 and an 8.
1 and an 8.
1 and an 8. Yeah. So
Yeah, I
yeah,
was-
the
It took me a while.
the 18 damage Golden Sun.
Yeah.
And, I don't know if you can quite see my hand there. I'm looking at least 1 no block there. I'm pretty sure I'm taking a bit of a chunk.
Yeah. Yeah, very nice.
Yeah, what a
Oh,
great way of bringing them back
we
in.
stir in the pot.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, he done
I'll
got me
quickly-
here.
I'll quickly talk about Phantom Tidemore in this matchup because I think it was one of the hype cards going into this set as more of Enigma's cards were spoiled. It's actually been kind of a difficult card to use. It definitely doesn't sit in the main board for me because of the ability for more aggressive decks to clear all of your board, let alone just the other stuff, and let Tidemore gain counters. Oh, look at that life tracker tick down all of that
Damn.
damage.
No.
That's a lot.
Very
is a
pretty
lot.
nice. Again though, I have Tunic up. I could Van Brace there, so
Yeah, yeah.
I'm learning, and I'm thinking it's Van Brace time.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try it.
But so one thing the Tidemore did allow me to do last turn was to play a blue card to then transcend using Stir the Pot. Transcending that means that I am afforded the luxury of pitching a chi into the second manifestations of Mirror
We're
Guy.
just going at it, mate.
of the
These are
game.
some big turns.
I didn't notice,
Yeah,
by
we're
the
just
way.
swinging for the fences.
I didn't notice, by the
Yeah.
way, that you pulled an extended art. You cheeky prick.
I did put an extended up.
It's
I
pretty
got-
nice.
1 EA and 2 foils, so we'll have
Wow.
to see if I'm going to whale hard enough to upgrade those foils to EAs as well.
Well, this comes in for a big fat 8 again. Manifestation Mirror Guide putting in some numbers. Ryan,
Yep.
just saying no blocks here, holding on to a 5-card hand, of course, taking that one from the Spectral Shield, and now Callum firmly in the driver's seat. But with a 5-card grip, we know that Guardian can do some pretty gross things, and well, here comes one of them at the hand of a generic card.
It sure is, but you can see why, because it's a bloody good one. It's Rouse the Ancients, and I'm revealing Golden Sun and a blue, and I've got Tunic up. So I've got a card, still hidden though. So this could be Pummel. Oh, well, that'll be crispy.
And you guys might know, but I've dabbled in a little Victor myself, right?
One or two.
There's the cards are relatively face up on the table. Like Ryan said, there could be a pummel here, but I'm pretty sure we've got a Tunic Golden Sun coming. As Ryan says, it's face up on the table. I am pretty sure I'm not keeping my auras, so I'm gonna kiss them goodbye straight away.
Haze Bending has got so much value this game. Every single turn, it's creating a single Spectral Shield and essentially healing you by 1. Yeah, very, very powerful card. And if you get to resolve 2 of those on the board at the same time, then what the hell can you do?
We talked about this after the game, and it's 100% something I should have clocked. Obviously, you can see as this game progresses how tight it's been and how tough it's been for me, to decide whether to clear board or go for face. But there's definitely a point in this game where I should have just blocked a bit more, killed Haze Bending, and moved on.
Like Ryan said earlier, right? We
What's happening here, Callum?
Yeah.
Well, this is the first time we've played this matchup, so there's we're learning, right?
Absolutely.
So what I'm doing here is I'm playing Drop in the Ocean and responding to it with Passover, holding priority. Both of the Transcend cards here see another blue card played, meaning they both flip to their inner chi side. Not necessarily the end of the world for me that this Golden Sun has overpower, because would you believe it, I wouldn't have been able to block it anyway. We are, however, covering up 5 of the damage with the -1 from Drop in the Ocean, a 3-block and a Spectral Shield.
Yep.
But Ryan is definitely closing this life lead, and I am low on board. So we have definitely swung back the other way here.
Absolutely.
So you've got 2 chi in hand. So you're going to be activating Enigma's ability for the first time this game. Oh, might be actually second time this game. Either way, now going to be smacking into the face with 2 go again, costing absolutely nothing, and then pitching away for another Waxing Spectre.
Yep.
So here, no reason to play the Waxing Spectre first, right? It's a more face-up play to do it that way. Get the Spectral Shield in first.
Yeah.
Every Spectral Shield that comes at Ryan at this point now is lethal, which is making my cheese, my stinky cheese,
cheese, brilliant.
a bit more scary.
Yeah.
But as my life total gets lower and lower, I'm more and more scared of the old Golden Suns, which I believe there's one more of, and
There sure is, and
Yep.
you can see me digging for it. I need it right now.
Damn,
dig for it
cracking
pretty hard.
3!
Yeah, why not? Right?
He lost
Go
his
for it.
damn mind.
I'm on 2. What are you gonna do, right? You gotta try.
Oh, yeah.
Also,
really-
like I say, Ryan knows that he's got 1 Golden Sun left, right? So
Absolutely.
there's
But this is one
only
of
need
Kyle.
for 1, but he went digging and he
This is
found
why.
diamonds, baby.
So
yeah.
you've gone digging, you found a Macho Grande on the first gold, and then were you able to find another Macho Grande revealing the Rouse?
Yeah, so I had a Rouse in Arsenal and like 2 blues or 3 blues or something. I can't remember, but
It's a big hand.
basically I had to dig because I wanted to fire off this Rouse. Otherwise, if I just send Hammer for 4 holding a card in my hand, like that's just terrible. I need to capitalize on my Arsenal. I need to threaten go again. Like I said, I'm on 2, he's on 9. He's got no Arsenal. I'm looking to maybe push some damage here and break some ward. Like it's a pretty good return. So
Absolutely.
gold is a resource. Gold is the payoff. You
It's
can see it
another
all there.
Yeah, it's another really strong argument for the power of Visit the Goldmain Estate and Crown and Dominion, right? Like,
Absolutely, yeah.
it's not just the case that they add the mites to your game, right? It's not just the case they help you push over. Like Ryan says, gold is a resource. Like later on in the game, it becomes more and more prevalent to finding the answers you need.
Yeah, honestly, it's helped you so many times. Like that turn I cracked a gold and found a Zealous. This turn I cracked 3 gold and found, my Rouse play into Hammer. You can see actually I'm cracking another gold here because I'm just so epic and I want to find a Golden Sun. Because obviously if I crack a gold here, 1 floating, I've got a blue, I draw a Golden Sun, then I can threaten Golden Sun here. We didn't get it. In my next hand, you'll see I'm like 2 cards off of it or 1 card off of it, unfortunately. But you got to try, right? Play to your outs.
Absolutely.
But so far, this game's been pretty fun, I have to say.
So Callum, current board state, you've got 1 Waxing Spectre on the board. You've also got your Haze Bending, which has yet to be popped because it does not pop on token auras. So the Spectral Shield will not pop on itself. And 2 cards in hand, one of them, I believe, is a
Phantom Tidemore. I know one of them is a Phantom Tidemore, I'm pretty sure.
So
here I'm one thing I've learned about Enigma through playing her Unlimited and through the probably about 10 to 15 classic constructed games I've played as her now is you just can't get too attached to these auras, guys. They might be cool, they might look epic, but
they do look epic.
Sometimes you just gotta know when to say bye bye to these auras. So
True.
Shimmers and a Phantom Tidemore in hand.
Throws up to the Waxing Spectre, but this one's Audi.
This one's cooked.
Done what it needed to do though. Done exactly what it needed to do. Doesn't need to do anything more than that. Swinging for 4 and then blocks 3. That's enough.
And again,
value.
like I mentioned very early on in the game, this is why I'm not a big proponent of playing your auras out on your opponent's turn. I think you really want to be able to play them out and attack with them just so that if they do go that following turn, you you get the decent amount of value out of them. Haze bending not just equaling 1 life in this point in the game, it also equals 1 damage because the spectral shield is a weapon I can attack with, and I can attack with it for free, which is pretty good.
And there's really no go again because no +1 counter, however, but 1 damage when your opponent's on 2 can sometimes rip a card out of hand.
That's 50% of their life total.
That's massive.
That turn, obviously, when I got gold greedy, there's definitely an argument there for not swinging an Ophos and just killing haze bending and moving on. And I think that's probably what I should have done. Well, I don't know. What do you think, Callum?
It's difficult to say, right? Because then you leave the waxing spectre up. So you allow me to come in for 4 with the waxing spectre. And haze bending itself, unfortunately, makes a spectral shield when it dies. Well, not unfortunately for me, but so it would have been, like I say, 4 go again into 1. That's some really, really awkward numbers to have to block. Assuming you're not on Sink Below or any 0-4 defensive actions in this matchup, we haven't seen any all game, and you're trying to play as aggressively as possible, as we see here with this Zealous Belting.
Notably with the HP, Ryan, you took the 1 there, so you're actually on 1 HP at this point. I think that gets updated in a couple of moments.
Oh, that's right. Yes, yeah. There you go.
Kind of going to be eating some damage here off the back of the Zealous Belting, and then a Macho Grande for 8. When you're on 4 HP for a lot of decks, this usually is the curtain call. This is the card that will close it out. And I think,
so
Ryan, a little bit of a Hail Mary, you were looking for that here, right?
I needed this big time, yes.
Yeah, for sure. And let's bear in mind that at one point, I think, Ryan, you were about 16 life down, right? When those mirror guys were coming in hot. And for the first time playing this matchup, has done a fantastic job at navigating himself into an endgame state, which is very, very winnable. And
absolutely,
like Carl says, 4 life against a Macho Grande for a lot of decks spells doom. However,
Enigma isn't any deck.
See,
I would not be thinking so long about this if if I didn't have a way to live, I suppose.
I thought, man, I've just pulled this out. I've still got Zealouses in my deck, and I've managed to find Zealous into Macho. Oh, we're cooking. But I know Callum's a great player, and he's thinking about this block too long that I know I'm not killing him.
There's a lot going on here. Callum, talk us through what's happened. So you blocked with 1 card, and you played a Phantom Tidemore from your arsenal.
So as I mentioned earlier, Phantom Tidemore is a 1-card playable blue that allows you to turn on all the abilities of your Transcend cards, right? One of the biggest Transcend cards you can play is the Sacred Art, Enigma's Sacred Art. It could have been any Transcend card at this point. I needed any ways to Transcend to be able to pitch Chi to trigger the Ward 3 on my new boots, the Meridian Pathway. So effectively creating a load of ward out of nowhere. Losing, so I'm committing 2 block with the haze bending, 3 ward with the boots, and then a further 3 ward with the spectral shields that the Sacred Art made.
Really good play. Very tough for me to see this again in the second time. This sucks because you navigated this so well. This is normally curtains for most decks, right? Like
this is another reason. I am playing Phantasmal Footsteps in the sideboard, and you would think usually you would bring Footsteps into the Guardian matchup, right? Because you play some Phantasm attacks and you want to be able to get your action point back. But Mirage and Metamorph is a card you're happy to have popped. Make a clone of an aura, and Meridian Pathway in the late game just allows you to deal with those dominate and overpower effects.
Clean block here from the pummel to be able to block out that 2 damage, but of course with the go again from Cosmo, due to the fact having a +1 counter, still coming in for 1, which is up from 50% of your HP to 100% of your HP remaining, getting blocked out with a wallop, forcing 2 cards out of hand, now on a 2-card hand. I mean, Victor and Guardians can do a number of things on 2-card hands, but there's one of the best things you can do, that being a big fat 7 for an E-Strike, threatening some of that ward which is currently on the board, and of course 4 cards in the hand. Callum can't just full take this.
No, I was quite far off my Golden Sun, unfortunately. I thought I was closer, but so I had to bottom it there to the E strike. But I'm well aware that I'm on 1. I had to unfortunately block too much that turn. I had a pretty good hand, obviously, Golden Sun Pummel. But when I'm at 1, I just have to keep some life. And
blocking
E
out.
strike is a pretty good return there. Doing the best we can here.
Comes Waxing Spectre, forcing that break point.
Like Ryan says, it's we're at that stage of the game now where Ryan can't afford to keep enough cards to clear board. Also, a couple turns ago when we had the Macho Grande turn, because I played out the Phantom Tidemore, that was a non-token illusionist aura that died to the haze bending, which is why I had another spectral shield last turn to cover up the 7 breakpoint of the E strike, allowing me to keep this spectral shield with the counter on it, which is basically demanding a card every turn from Ryan now.
Running 6 here, cracking a gold to be able to ensure that you can actually present larger numbers instead of it being blocked by a single fate. Fate, of course, going to be coming out here. So it does eat the Waxing Spectre.
So there's a good example there. Like cracking gold to make an OFO 6 is a really good play, because if I just swung 4 there, Callum would have just blocked with the Fate, kept his ward, and then I would have looked sad.
God,
But
and here he
is
is.
good. And this is a pretty good end game from Callum.
This is one of the discussions that I've heard people have, which is about the reason as to why Manifestations of Mirugai was a blue and not a red, because the card is completely crazy, and the fact that late on in the game it ends up next to the cheat cards that you spend the rest of your game pitching seems really, really powerful. Honestly, that was one of the most fun games of Fab I've played in a long time, and was really, really enjoyable to play Enigma in paper for the first time at this event as well.
Seems fun.
Yeah, she seems so powerful. Really,
she
really
does.
fun.
She seems like there's a lot going on there. A lot of defensive capabilities, a lot of aggressive capabilities, a lot of break points as well. Sometimes going even to like that chaining 3 if you allow a board state, chaining 4 and potentially even 5. I don't think we saw anything that deep in that game, but it's fundamentally
definitely a
possible.
possibility. It's definitely a possibility, but again, in this game, as Ryan did a really great job of managing the board effectively. It is, I say, the big question mark is that haze bending and clearing that haze bending. I really see why Ryan didn't. I think the only time in the game that I would have cleared it would have been on the turns that you cleared the shimmers instead. But the reality of the situation is you can't do everything, right? You can't threaten enough damage to clear the ward and clear the spectral auras as well, which is something that the aggro decks, which are some of the worst matchups for Enigma, really can do.
They can do, yeah. I think I'm kind of like in the mode. We talked about this before with one of our friends, Aiden, who's obviously a cupper. We're not sure, or I'm not sure rather, the priority targets, like when you're facing Prism, what are the things you need to kill on site versus the things you don't need to kill necessarily straight away. And there's an argument to be made that Shimmers is obviously a red flag card that everyone remembers from Prism's time. Is it necessarily the kill on site target in Enigma, or is it haze bending in that matchup, for example? Because I'm not sure, and I think after watching this video back and talking with Callum and yourself, Carl, for a bit, I'm starting to think haze bending is the number one target.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think if we were to go back and see how many spectral shields that individual haze bending made, and then look at the life totals towards the end of the game, not only was it presenting killing effects with the board, but also it being a weapon and just pinging you for 1. You don't want to be giving cards early on for blocking. You definitely don't want to be giving cards later on when you're at that like sub 5 HP total. Pinging for 1 is a Kadachi, and Kadachi lock is something which is very true and very known in the Fab space.
Real.
Being able to do that as an illusionist, and then sometimes be like, oh, cheeky little 4 as well with a Wax Inspector in between of that, really puts a lot of decks into an awkward spot. So yeah, I think that probably is priority target number 1. And I was actually going to ask you what would be your main takeaway, Ryan, from watching that game back after playing it yesterday. And it sounds like the main takeaway is that shit needs to die. You need to kill it. Number 1. On board, alarm bells, kill it. Get it gone. They've only got 3, I suppose, is the argument. Right?
Yeah, that's exactly it. I think Haze Bending's number one target, my worst enemy, and then I think
Preying on your
Van Brace
downfall, bro. That's what it is.
yeah, my enemy. I think Van Brace is obviously a strong consideration too going forward. There was plenty of turns there where Van Brace just having a -1 effect for Callum to have to think about, even if I don't do it, like the threat of it is very, very real for Callum, and it just makes his turns less, obvious for him to do. Right?
Can we just say we're in a universe and a meta where the meme legendary that was £4 when I bought it, like at Liverpool, is now being talked about as like, actually this card can be good in certain matchups. We finally found the matchup that it can come in for.
And I think it's interesting to note. I know we're talking a lot about the game, even though it's done now, but maybe some people stuck around. You never know. Hey to you guys.
OGs.
I think it's definitely worth noting that had Van Brace been in the deck, that 4 life that I was left with at the end of the game there, regardless of if you left Haze Bending around, probably would have got you those last 4 points of life, or prevented me from preventing those points of life.
Yeah.
But honestly, being that close to death and that close to being on the back foot at the end there with that Macho Grande turn really showed that it's not
even
as
without
illusionist favoured.
Yeah.
As illusionist favoured as people may have feared. I think you've got cards like Goldmane Estate, like your Outmuscle Tech, you go against sources. So thank for that. So I'm definitely interested to see. Again, remember this was the first time that we've played this matchup, and I think
set's been up for 2 days, 48 hours.
Yeah. Game plans were enacted pretty solidly, so I definitely look forward to playing this one again when we've both got even more reps.
Callum, we
me
had
too, mate.
Callum, we had a takeaway from Ryan. Just a quick takeaway from yourself from Enigma's standpoint. What was something that you learned in this game, or was there something that was a standout that kind of you maybe didn't expect or worked better than you expected?
Yeah, I think the choice to lose the tunic in that mid game to
keep
hold
the
that
mirror guy
manifestations of mirror guy was probably one of the more difficult decision points for me in the game. I think it paid off, but it's very hard to tell what value that tunic would have gotten if the game had continued, because the game continued for so much longer after that point. But realistically, being able to float the tunic on the turn that you resolve the mirror guy to attack with it on the turn that you play it really is what you need it for. Impressed with Meridian Pathway at the end of the game there as well. I did think that the card may not even make lists, but happy with how it performed that game.
Yeah, absolutely. Seems good that you can just go create a spectral shield and also ward 3. You want this? Very nice.
Pretty good.
In a pinch. Which, hey, that's all you need sometimes, right? Nice. All right, guys. Well, thanks for joining me. Absolute banger game. Congratulations to you, Callum, for winning it. Ryan, you'll get him next time. I'm confident. I can't believe I'm backing a Guardian for once. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you all have enjoyed very early on in this MST season. We've got Nats coming up. We've got events, ProQuest Pluses kicking off left, right, and centre with a number of MST heroes taking victories. The UK ProQuest Plus, hosted at the UK Games Expo, is won by Zen. So we're seeing, not even a day after release, heroes doing putting a pretty big stake in the meta. So let's see what continues happening as
that got
as
me
the meta.
Quaking in my boots.
Hey, understandable, bro. That deck is
too,
terrifying. Mate. That deck is absolutely terrifying. So I'll be interested to see over the coming weeks what happens, how it develops, and who's kind of the winners as we branch in to this new Flesh and Blood set. Well, thanks for joining us, guys. Have a lovely rest of your evening. We'll catch you all soon. Peace.